Sure thing. Thank you. Hi, I'm Nakia from Where's the Buzz. Hi, Kyle. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Nakia. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the Star Wars family.
Thank
Uh, your character is new to the family. So let us know who your character is and what attracted you to the role.
Yeah, so Syril Karn is a deputy inspector in the corporate security headquarters on a planet called Morlana 1, which is on the outer reaches of the Empire's reach. Not really under Empire control, kind of a law unto itself. And he is someone who is obsessed with control and order and power, and wants more of it, and recognizes that the empire is quite fat and lazy and open to insurgents, actually, and weaker than it should be. And he comes from a place of which you'll find out later in the series. You get to meet his mom. But you find out later in the series like where he comes from, what his upbringing was like, and it was quite strict and rigid, and from a place of lack. He didn't have much, and has a really domineering, overbearing mother, and as a result, he doesn't have a lot of self-worth, and so he's looking for that validation and that approval outside of himself through the fascist structure of the empire, which is kind of more easily navigable than digging up some metal on Ferrex. It's a rewards-based system that pats you on the back and lets you climb up the ladder if you take power, and worse, away from other people. And so what attracted me to the role was really, I mean, that's quite a lengthy intro, I guess, to a character, but all of that was there on the page. Tony Gilroy created a Star Wars antagonist that was really full of light and shade and conflict.
Mhm.
Like, he's really desperate to be a part of the empire, but he also risks too much and has doubts and has kind of shame and guilt and all these other emotions that are completely three-dimensional. And that's balanced by Cassian being completely the same almost. He's really complicated. Like, he makes questionable decisions. Like, the man, like in one of the first scenes of Rogue One, just like shoots his friend. Like, that's cold. So like, it's what Tony Gilroy created, all these human characters who were so rooted in a kind of intimate reality that I think we recognize in everyday life, struggling to get by, you know, and then that just felt very refreshing and real to me.
Yeah, I loved it. It's like there's a gray area where I can't wait for to see how his character turns out and see
Yeah,
like his moral compass and what he struggles with because it's
yeah,
really interesting. Something else I loved was the visuals and the way the set looked for me watching it. So I can only imagine what it was like for you on set. What was that like? Because I'm sure there wasn't a lot of green screens. I heard that there were actual sets built. So tell us what that was like.
yeah. So one of the things Tony Gilroy wanted to do originally was go back um, to the '70s films and be like, let's build a lot of stuff. But we were filming in the pandemic as well, so we were supposed to travel to exotic locations, but what the pandemic did was like give incredibly creative people a problem to overcome, and creative people are really great at doing that. And so they built the shit out of like some amazing sets. And there was one particular, it's Ferrex, and that thing is like acres wide, and it's a 360-degree set where you could go anywhere, you could open any door, any cupboard, you could pick up anything, and it was completely detailed.
Wow.
Like, the level of scale and detail on the show was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. And it was so freeing. It was like being in, I don't know, like your treehouse as a kid where you get to imagine anything.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, yeah, but we made that. It's like right over here. You're like, wow, okay.
It looked so cool watching it. So I'm like, wow, I can only imagine what they're looking at. Because for me, seeing it on screen, like you said, the imagination, I know my imagination ran wild. So that's something I really wanted to ask you guys because I felt like a big kid on set, kind of.
Exactly. And you feel it when you watch it. You know when it's built, you know when it's real. Even the best CGI can kind of like look really real. But when it's lived in and it's been built, like it transfers, you know, you feel it.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, they were finding places in London to film. And I was like, that's not gonna happen. And then they found this spot that's like, I was like, oh my God, like these people are incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really really cool. So the Star Wars fans, they're really passionate. This is something that goes back to the 70s. So was it overwhelming for you to kind of step into this new role and be part of the new Star Wars family?
I mean, I gotta say, Nakia, it's starting to get intense. But when we were filming it, it wasn't. You know, Tony Gilroy had a real just ease about the whole thing. He's like, we're just doing this other job. It happens to be in space. And we could kind of forget that we were in Star Wars until you saw a stormtrooper or something. It Because it's a mashup of so many different genres, and it's a socio-political drama, it's a spy thriller, it's a family drama, it's got all these interweaving storylines as well. And so also when we were filming it, we were just happy to be alive and like working at the same time. So like, so there's that. And then as we started doing press, the penny's been dropping. And I've been like, wow, like as you said, this is almost 50 years old, this legacy. And you've got, my nephew who's 7 could be chatting to somebody in their 80s
Yep.
about the same characters, the same films. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That pop cultural phenomenon is like ongoing, and it means so much to people, and to speak to people like you and like who are just so appreciative of the new avenues that it's going into is like, it's been really cool.